Hi everybody, this is Stephanie. Here I'm going to be showing you a current project that I'm working on. Yes, I am loom knitting. I had so many ideas come into mind for a while actually. So I thought of squares. Now I have done a sort of a show and tell on this channel a while back actually in regards to loom knitting, but it didn't have these squares were joined together in a continuous manner and they didn't have a border. So I'm showing you really quick here all the different little squares that I made, and they have a garter stitch border, and I love it so much that I wanted to share with you guys. Now I call these my 6-inch squares. If we're being honest, the width is roughly about 5.5, but if you do your blocking or I slightly stretch them, and they can be pretty much a 6-inch by 6-inch square. And I just love the fact that I'm showing you they again, to the right hasn't been stretched, but you can definitely block them. I'm showing you all the different techniques that I do for the body portion, the center. I do different patterns or colors just to give it that what am I looking for, like a granny square. You can do this for your scrap of yarn. You only have enough of that purple variegated yarn for the center. That's perfect. Of course, when I'm going through my scrap yarn, I like to color code. So, and here's another option. If you only have so many of each color, then you can fit it all in one square. And I just love this idea so much that I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm just giving you a rundown of all the different techniques that I thought about while I was experimenting with this pattern, and I really like those colors. And this is just another one without using variegated yarn, but rather a solid color inside. Again, this is definitely a scrap yarn type of method, or blanket. But again, when I do my scraps of yarn, I like to color code. Now I did stray from the scrap of yarn idea, and I grabbed all my pinks, and I am making a project with this. So now I'm going back to show you that I do have a process tutorial for this square, and then I will meet you back and you will loom each square with me that you see that's on that loom in the shades of pink. But I'm telling you to watch the video with this square being completed to give you an understanding of the pattern that I have. All right, I don't know what else I'm saying. Oh, and I'm going to show you really quickly another square that I did forget. Another technique. I just switched up more colors in the body portion. So that one was really fun to do too, and it was a bunch of color changing throughout the loom. So now I'm telling you really quick here, I have a lot of squares completed. Now I'm gonna have to do a lot of weaving and sewing. And in my previous loom knitting video, I do not like having to sew. So I really quick thought, well, why don't I just leave the squares on there after completion of all their rows? And that is exactly what I did. So I'm showing you really quick here. All of them are completed, and I continue. So after the certain amount of rows, I just do the next square as if I'm starting over. And I just knit off that previous square. This can, I don't block my items, so if you don't block them, you may sense some, like it does get pulled, but I'm okay with that. So let's tune into the tutorial. All right, I show you, this is what we're going to be doing. I'm so sorry that the color is darker. It was not a hindsight, it would have been better if I chose a lighter color, but I am going to bring you along with this tutorial on a lighter color yarn so you're able to see it all. All right, I don't know what else I'm talking about. I just wanted to make sure I was pretty clear, but I do know my real-time voice for the video, I was a bit on a softer tone in my voice. So if this is not the way to do it for you guys, I can always give you a real-time video. It will be the same amount of duration right now, 24 minutes. and it will be in real time, but I just feel like I'm not loud enough, and I just really want to make this as smooth as possible. I do want you to get the pattern. All right, now you do see the washi tape that's on there. Disregard that. That is for the basket weave stitch. I left it on there without even thinking. So I just leave things on there and I don't even reference it. So I'm showing you really quick here. You got to have 20 pegs. You got to color code your edges, the 4 on the outer blue and the other 4 on the right side as well. Those are your edges, and you would do the same thing for those pegs throughout the duration of this stitch right here. And I'm letting you know this is why they're color coded, and you need to find some way. If you don't color code with pegs, you can use the washi tape like I'm doing here. You can use markers. I have little rings that I slit so that way they're easy to attach. And we're going to do a slip knot, and we're going to cast on. And I'm going to show you really quick our cast on technique. I know many people like to see from the beginning to the end, so I'm hoping this is, you know, the best way to do things. It's just so much easier for you to follow along. You don't have to do all these squares with me, so by having that cast on and cast off, this can be beneficial for you, and it can work for your project. It doesn't necessarily have to be like mine. I'm letting you know this is the cast on that we're doing. It is just 2 E-wraps per peg, and it is a cast on. I don't know what they call this. I want to say it's E-wrap cast on, but I know if you E-wrap all the way across and you come back with another E-wrap. But yeah, so let me know if you know what this cast on is called. I'm so sorry, I don't even know. So really quick here, I show you how I count my rows. I just kind of divide them up. The first 10 rows, the body portion is 11 to 34, and then we have our last 10 rows. Here I'm showing on the screen, sorry, I was trying to figure out just what you exactly have to do for the first part. We're going to be knitting the garter stitch from row 1 to row 10. So if you have a row counter, or you can use a paper the way I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the purl row with you, and then I will be giving you some more information along the way. This section, I'm just letting you know that I'm doing the garter stitch, the ridge for the bottom portion of our square. And it is just the garter stitch where you knit a row, purl row. Our cast on was row 1. We're on to our purl row, which is also an even row. And from the whole duration of this tutorial, your even rows will consist of the purl row. So that'll give you a better idea as you progress and you continue the number of rows. You know 36 is an even row, you know 38 is an even row, and you know 35 is definitely the E-wrap row. So I hope that makes it easier for you guys to remember that. So I just finished off that second row, and I'm moving on to an E-wrap, and I think this is probably where I'm going to be leaving you guys to complete the rest of the 10 rows for the border. And I'm just letting you know how I do the E-wrap for the garter stitch. If you do skip your outer pegs, you can do that, but it might change the outcome compared to mine. I just keep things the same throughout the entire duration. So if you skip it and it does give you a slightly different edge, just be mindful for when you're sewing your edges together for your squares. Okay, so that was row 3. This is where I mentioned that we marked that off. I like to do that, but again, you can either remember or you can use a row counter. We are on row 4. I'm just being really thorough on making sure you know what to do. I will see you back for row 11. So do the same things that I just taught you here, and I will see you back for row 11. So I'm back with row 11. We're keeping the pattern the same. And by the same, I just mean we E-wrapped row 11. Our change is about to occur for row 12, our purl row. And this is going to be the whole body portion change every single time you get to your purl rows, which in this case will be our even rows. You're going to purl your color-coded pegs, or however you had marked these 4 pegs on the edges and the other 4 on the other side. You're going to purl like normal until we reach the body portion of the loom. Here we go. Since this is a different, I also wrote this on the screen if you do not understand what I mean. You're going to go ahead and start E-wrapping, and you're going to do that, oops, and there you go. You're going to E-wrap all the way across until you reach the other 4 on the other side, and then you're going to purl those again. And that is how you're going to purl for the whole body portion from row 11 to row 34. We are on row 12, so I'm just letting you know those set of rows is our body. So this is how our purl rows will look from now on. And you noticed how I am knitting them off as I go. I just want to pay attention to my tension flow. So if you feel one side is tighter than the other, definitely play around with your loops and pull a little tug and roar with them just to balance out the tension, because that can occur. And here we are, we're purling our other 4, and that is now our new purl row for the duration of the body portion from row 11 to 34. And I'm going to mark that off really quick. Here I place my Instagram post, and you can sit there if you have any completed projects and you want to share with me and share with everyone else, please do so. I have already started to share. I especially use the Loom Knit Square hashtag. It's a Loom Knit Squares with an S. Alright, so I believe I just did another knit E-wrap row, and we're going back to our purls. And I'm just showing you once more just so you get the only change I did from this garter stitch that was the same like the border is E-wrapped the body portion to have that E-wrap look in the center, and it creates a border with the garter ridge, and I just love it so much. And yeah, so just keep doing this, and I'll meet you back for row 35. And here on the screen, I just let you know what is the pattern right now. All right, and we are back. Excuse the background noise if you hear my kids playing. This is what your square should look like after 34 rows completion. I cannot believe it. It looks so stinking cute, and I am having so much fun getting creative with this, and I hope you do too. Sorry about the background noise. Now we're going to start doing our cast off. I'm so sorry, not our cast off. We're going to be doing our last 10 rows of the edging. So we're going to go right back. Oh, really quick, I wanted to see if it would measure 5 inches, and it does. So I'm trusting my pattern, and like I said, if you don't block it, then the width is not really a true 6 inches. It's roughly about 5.5, but I notice as I stretch them, they do reach that 6-inch increment, so I did not add any more pegs. Okay, we're back to our last edging of our square, and we're just going to do the garter stitch for the next 10 rows. For row 35 we're doing right now is an E-wrap. So sorry, yeah, it's a hot day today. But there we go, and you just do that all the way across, and I'm going to show you our purl row as well. It's just so you know that we are purling the entire row. We want that edge. So we just finished row 35. We're moving on to row 36. I'm giving it a little bit of a pull, a little bit of a stretch. I want my squares to line up, and for the most part they will. And here is 36, and on the screen I just double checked. Reminder to make sure your project comes out smooth. And so I'm just letting you know we're doing it all the way across. And this is where I'm going to put my work down, and I'm going to let you do the remainder from 37 to 44, the rows, on your own. The purl entire row and knit an entire row. And again, that's the same even rows we purled, and the odd rows will be E-wrapped. That's all I'm letting you know in the video. Alright, now let's go on to our casting off. Now, unfortunately, I did record and I was out of focus the majority of the time. So I'm letting you know this is our project, and you can always stop on row 44. And you can leave your work on the loom and just continue a new square on there instead of having to sew your ends. Again, I'm putting that on the screen only if you want to block your squares, and if you don't know what kind of pattern you want next to each other, then yes, you would use this cast off. And we're just going to E-wrap a peg, knit over, E-wrap the second peg, knit over, and then we're going to move the second loop onto the first peg, and then you're going to grab some working yarn, and you're going to have 3 loops on your peg, and you're going to knit 2 over the bottom 2. And there you have it. You're going to move that first loop that was on the first peg over to the second empty peg, and then you're going to knit off that third loop, give it a knit, and there you go, an E-wrap. Then you're going to move that third loop onto the second peg, and then you're going to grab your working yarn and you're going to knit 2 over, and that's the pattern, and you're going to keep doing that all the way across. And I do leave the majority of it on the video just so you can better grasp this cast off that I use throughout the entire duration of all my squares. So if I don't include it in any of the next videos, which I'm pretty sure I will, this is a technique that you can go back to. Or, like I said, you can leave it on your loom at row 44. You will not do this row, which is row 45. And you can just start off with the next square. And I'll be showing that in another video. The option is yours. I would recommend, if you like blocking and you want it to be true to size, or you like certain patterns that I'm going to be showing and you want them to be next to each other, then this is the cast off for you. Casting off would be a better option. However, I do not like to sew, so if I can just keep them going, I'm going to. Alright, we've fast forward to the last 2 pegs, and I'm just going to show you really quick. I moved that to the second to the last peg. I'm knitting off the last peg, and then I'm going to place that last loop onto the second to the last peg, knit off 2, and then I'm going to pull my working yarn out. I gotta give that a cut, and and definitely stretch that out. You don't want it too taut and it gives it a weird shape. So before you cut it and you secure it, definitely give it a stretch into its new shape to form better. And there you have it. You have a completed square. I know this is not the one we started off with, but I will be showing a tutorial with the color change option in the future. So definitely check that out. But this is what we created, and I hope you had a great time and you definitely got inspired and you will come back for more. And also a little bit of a sneak peek or tease, I guess I should tell you. I'm also going to start doing my squares in a 12 by 12 format, and I cannot wait to share with you guys. I may not go as crazy as these 6-inch squares. It was so much easier doing my little color changes and different designs, but the 12 by 12 will be nice to get a bigger project done faster with simple colors, and I'm just so excited. I'm just letting you know, if you just give it a bit of a pull on either sides, they will all match and be cohesive. So as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, have a good day. Bye.